An explosive first game out the way, as we get ready to head to the second one on Inferno, G2 versus VP. And while joining me today is going to be Hugo Byron. Still here. How you doing, buddy?
I haven't gone anywhere. No, excited for the second game, obviously.
Yeah.
Bit of an interesting performance to see VP bring it so far back, almost closing out the map. But G2, obviously, as you would expect, being able to take away their best map, and I assume their map pick going into this one. So, 1-0, expecting a 2-0, but there's still potential for upset.
Yeah, definitely, especially after we kind of saw how well VP played in that second half. I mean, you can't take that away from them. I think they did phenomenally well, and I'm very much looking forward to see if we kind of start to maybe see them pick things up a little bit. I remember kind of seeing that Pasha and a couple of the other players on the team are saying how they're really motivated to try and pick things up because they know they've been playing bad, right? So hopefully we see them kind of get out of that fall from grace and make themselves back up to the top team we know they can be. But heading into Inferno, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on this based on what we know from the past and what we've seen today.
I mean, this is neither a good map for either team. Both teams are kind of stagnated on it. This is a bit better for G2 just off of recent performance, currently 4-3 in the last few months. VP, I think, something like 3-7, as you said earlier, 7-loss streak currently. Yeah. So not exactly a great map for VP, but when you go into 7-loss streak, they've been losing everything pretty much as they play.
Right?
So it's not exactly a huge statistic. Yeah. I think most maps are probably on a loss streak on anyway. So yeah, going into this one, still favour towards G2, but it really does depend, right? It just depends, what we see. It's a map that, at least on the T side, you don't see as much prevalent AWPing as you do on, say, for example, Nuke, that we saw quite a lot from both teams. Even, at least moving on to the CT side, we saw a lot of double AWPing here from G2. Moving on to this map, yes, AWPing on the CT side is very important, but not so much on the T side. So we could see maybe, G2 have if they don't bring in that AWPing prowess that we can obviously see them do a lot, VP may be able to exploit it in the sense of using those rifles. But I can imagine, see, G2 are one of those teams where I wouldn't be surprised if we saw the double AWP T side just because of Kenny S and Shox and that star factor that they have as a duo.
Yeah, and I mean, Kenny is always someone who's kind of famous for playing a very kind of aggressive AWPing style. That's why when we think back to the AWPing update that came out so long ago now, he was one of the players who was really quite affected by that, and it took him a long time to get over. To the point where, I mean, in a lot of ways, he even kind of argued that he only, I say recently, but not really like that recently, came out of that slump from the AWP changes. It took him a very long time to adapt. But I would still say now he's one of, the more aggressive AWPers out there along with Shox. That's kind of why they're so versatile. Shox definitely kind of playing the much more aggressive role. That's just kind of how he is. He's the player who sneaks into the back line, makes all these opportunities happen. But yeah, I mean, like you said, the double AWP setup on the T side might be something we see them bring in just for that sheer kind of surprise factor, and because you have two players that could make it work.
Yeah, I mean, it's so unnecessary on this map.
Yeah, it's incredibly unnecessary.
Literally no need for it, but it's just, this is one of the teams that I've seen do it before on this map, at least, when they first started, when they were slumping. And I mentioned it earlier, before G2 started to look far better, as they have in recent performance, I mean, Shox was doing far better. He was putting up big numbers with the AWP over Kenny S, and despite that, Kenny S was always going to be picking up the main AWP, and even when Shox was double AWPing, he was somehow getting more frags than Kenny. So it's not exactly a worry, the AWPing star on either side of these teams. We have a lot of prevalent AWPers over on the side of VP as well. Not just Pasha can pick it up, but a lot of players can. So it should be okay for that one. But I mean, moving into this, AWP is not as crucial as it is over on Nuke, for example. You want it to lock down both outside and ramp.
I got to be honest with you, I've kind of heard your predictions. You say you're expecting G2 to be able to take this one, right? Yeah. That's the way that you're leaning. I'm actually thinking that VP are going to be able to take this map. I think we're going to see VP pick this one up just because when you look at it, G2 and Nuke, they go hand in hand, right? It's a map they should have been able to win very, very clean cut, especially against VP, who have kind of a mixed history with it. They've had some great performances on Nuke, and then recently, as with every map, they've just tanked, right, completely. Yeah. Very, very underwhelming. Inferno's one they never really had that much success on, but when you look across, over at G2 and you kind of see how they play, it's not like you said, it's kind of an even map for them. It's one they can have good results on, but it very much depends on individual performances. They're not too set up, on that map as a whole, just because, in comparison to all the others, it's only been recently re-added back into the map pool. So, I mean, neither team really being too special on it. A lot of it's going to come down to that individual performance. And I think based on what we saw from VP just then, I'd say they were performing better on an individual basis in that second half. If we see the VP from the second half, whoever those guys were, come back and play, you know, on Inferno, I think we could see them take it.
Yeah, it's a surprise factor of this map, right? It always happens when a new map comes back into the map. I don't think we can really argue this map is new, but still, as you say, a lot of teams aren't exactly, this isn't their bread and butter, so there is a somewhat of a surprise factor still found over in Inferno for some of these teams, and despite G2 looking great, you know, coming back in recently, starting to really pick up the performance, VP, you said it yourself, they've been at least talking about how they want to improve, how they know they're in a slump, and I'm sure they've been doing some work behind the scenes to try and fix that. Maybe this is their chance to bring things back. I definitely don't disagree. There's a possibility they could do well, but I've still got to go with a safe pick. I always like going safe, at least in predictions, in the sense that this should just be cheating.
You're either safe or just on the fence. Yeah, they're the two. That way you're never wrong, right? And even if you are wrong, you can always argue that you just went for the safe pick. So
I think the winning team is going to win this match, actually, in my opinion.
Yeah, like a true coward, you could say. Yeah, no, it's great. Honestly,
it was one.
I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of, you know, your method of predicting. You're never wrong, like ever. So yeah, you know, heading into this though, something we've been doing this for the last, you know, in the last map as well. Who would you say the players that you want to be keeping an eye on, you know, for the people at home as well? Who would you advise? You know, who do you think is going to have the big impact, the big plays?
I'm going to drop it on Shocks again, just because.
There we go, playing it safe.
No, you say playing it safe. Apex was stomping last map. Right,
no.
Fine, I'll go with Apex. So we'll play it safe.
No. I'll let you stick with Shocks.
I'll go with Shocks. Just
my pick.
Yeah, this is Inferno is Shocksy land, right? This is where he's always loved to play. At least going back to the old Inferno and the old Titan, you know, all the old French teams he's played in. This is Shocksy land. So yeah, I've got to go with Shocks.
Okay, so he's your MVP for G2. Well, I tell you what, speaking of G2, you can go ahead and grab a jersey from the ESL website if you would like to. And you can go ahead and support either one of these teams. That is all down to you. The ESL shop, they are stocking jerseys of all the teams now. So go ahead and pick up one for G2 if you support them, or VP if you're a VP supporter. Well, what would you buy, Hugo? What would you look more dashing in? Probably both, and just sew them together. And then that way, or maybe just get one of every team in the Pro League. You know, take little pieces from each, and then that way you just kind of support everyone. It's all about unity with you, isn't it?
Yeah, as you were saying earlier, I think if you want a VP jersey, get it soon, because if they don't pick up this map, they are going to be very close to dropping out of the Pro League, and that could be worrying. They could be back down in Mountain Dew League, and then we won't see a jersey on the ESL store. Yeah, well, and then you might be able to pick up your big shirts, you know, something like that. Yeah, there we go. That would be nice, wouldn't it? I mean, get your endpoint shirts in now. Yeah, definitely. So, okay, so, you know, you said you're kind of MVP for G2. How about, you know, looking over VP? I don't. It's such a wild card with that team, right? You're going to bully me for this one. Am I allowed to go safe? Yeah, no, do I go with Snacks? Yeah, I mean, it's such a wild card with VP because anyone can step up. They're all very talented, but like at the end of the day, VP are in a slump. It's hard to pick up anyone but Snacks, who's always really been on form, even when the team's slumping. He's very much kind of the backbone of the team. You know, he's always there. You can rely on him to have those consistent results. He's the man you look to. You know, to be able to just pull off these insane clutches, as well as just be the player who, even if everyone else is not doing too great, he'll be just that one kind of defining factor in the team. What about you then? Are you agreeing? Yeah, I'm exactly the same. So Harry is, let's get this on record, you bullied me for my picks, and you've also agreed with both of my picks. Well, where does this put you? Are you on the fence now? Are you safe? Are you a wimp? No, I'm whatever you want me to be. Okay. But yeah, so we are going to be heading into this one very, very quickly. I've just been informed that the players are in this. We should be getting into the pistol round. But yeah, so as we prepare to kick into this, then you've already said that you think G2 are going to take it 2-0. Do you see VP being able to do it, or do you just think it's going to be fairly clean cut? Because I think it's going to be one hell of a close game. Like, I mean, I think VP are going to take it, but the hard thing about this one, right, is because let's look at Nuke. Let's go back as a comparison really quickly, right? Yep. We saw G2 pick up 12 rounds in their first half and then get slammed in the pistol. Now, obviously, you can always use this argument, if they didn't lose a pistol, they would have done better. But realistically, if G2 got those first 12 rounds, then won the pistol, they would have just closed down the map there and then. I have no doubt about it. It probably would have been just a 16-3, just straight off the bat. But, you know, the fact that VP were able to pull it back with the pistol was really the make or break that pulled them back into the game and made the game so close. So if G2 can just kick this one off with the momentum that we saw in the previous map and be able to close out the pistol, I think this could even be a fairly, you know, landslide game in their favor. It's hard to make a prediction without seeing, you know, how the game goes. I'm never one to be a fan of actual, you know, round predictions because it is so random. Yeah, it's random. It's complete random. I could just say, yeah, I mean, I'm predicting overtime. I'm going to go 16-9. Like, you don't know. I'm going to go 19-17 to VP. Okay. If that's right.
I don't know. You owe me the drive back to the hotel.
I'll buy you a VP jersey off the ESL store.
That is actually a phenomenal deal, so I will take that. And there we go. We're going to be getting into this. Let's see if I get a free jersey from Hugo Byron himself. Heading into this, we can see VP over on the T side, G2 kicking things off on the CT side. A little bit of armor in play over on VP, but ultimately not that much, actually, as you've got Neo and Taz both naked. Speaking of naked, streaking down mid, it's Body and Kenny, and both of these players are going to try and put some threat. Taz, you AFK, my friend? Down he goes. Okay, doesn't expect Kenny to be there, who's just lining them up, knocking them down along with Body. The two aggro players down mid, but Bialy, he's angry. Doesn't matter. Anger doesn't get you anywhere. Shox finishes him off. Pasha is there to trade things out, but this round very quickly going south for VP. They've got to try and find some frags on these players in mid, because right now the bomb is trapped on Neo. He's getting boxed in from behind, and down he goes as well. Pasha going to find himself 1v3. He's looped all the way around back over towards A, but the A site without the bomb is like a picnic without sandwiches.
And what is that?
Just terrible.
Okay. The thing is, they know exactly that he can be pretty much anywhere on the map right now. They're aware that he pushed up towards B because he got that pick earlier, so they know he's coming back for that bomb, and they should be in position just to close this one out as he starts to worm his way down towards middle, in towards that T-spawn once again. 3 players are going to be needed here for Pasha. It's a tall order. He's going to come into contact with Apex very, very shortly, just playing towards that bench position. But it's actually Kenny S, I think, who will spot him out first, just peeking over towards the stairwell. MBK peeks out. Bad timing for Pasha. Looks back away, but he will get spotted, and this should be it. This should be the make or break. Kenny comes in from behind. Pasha trying to chase a one-on-one, but Kenny is there, and G2 will pick it up fairly clean cut. Looked very dangerous at the start. They got those first couple of picks, at least rushing down mid, Kenny and Body, but we saw a bit of a retaliation from VP. I was thinking for a second that G2 could have got caught out, but at least they take it back. They take down Neo and Spawn with the bomb, and that was the end of the game, end of the round, sorry, because if Neo made his way up Banana, they would have had a 2v3 post plant, and VP could have picked that one up.
G2 going to look to try and make some money this time around as they buy up UMPs across 3 of their players. 2 Famouses in play as well. Oh, they're going to slow things down. No rushes down mid, no playing into the hands of VP. Instead, they're aware of the gravity of the situation, and actually VP, they're sending a lot of players over here towards A. Predominantly 2 over towards mid, 2 in apps, and Snacks looks like he wants to make his way over towards Boiler, exiting out through apartments. Kenny is here, takes that initial peek, spots out the first player in the form of Neo, and now just smokes it off. Create a penetrable wall for him to hide behind. While Snacks trying to line up a shot onto the pit player in the form of MBK, who does actually get tagged down a little bit. Neo up close and personal, this smoke ready to push on through, but they're still looking hesitant. They haven't committed just yet. They're waiting to see if Pasha can open anything up over here towards B as he rains D shots down range. Pop Flash comes in. He's about to perish, and down he goes. Kenny, however, going to face a similar fate, and Apex trying to trade things out. Going to fall at the hands of Snacks, who's now on 2 frags. It might not be the big apple, but Snacks is hungry, and MBK, well, he's over towards Pick. Got to try and hold these players back off the site, but it doesn't matter because Neo is there, penetrating through his face hole.
Bomb down as well. This is an almost undoable retake situation for G2, considering not only the weaponry, but the amount of players the VP have left standing. Shox coming in from short, might be able to drop Neo, but he's already playing passive. Does go for the fight though, and that will give a free kill back in the favor of G2. Now things start to look doable. No utility left, and Body's going to be dinked as well. Down to 3 HP, caught in the open by Bialy, and Shox now alone, trying to move back in towards his site. He doesn't have a kit to play with, just seconds remaining, but Bialy will shoot him in the face. Virtus.pro to pick up the second round as well, pick up that force buy, and actually crush G2's money, who invested quite a lot into that one in terms of rifles as well. They had full utility. Now they're just playing with loss bonus. As you can see, really nothing on this CT side. Surprised they don't even go for the instant force, because again, it is going to be a double eco regardless of what happens. Now they will.
Yeah, there we go. Force buying down on the side of G2. Shock's going to have that scout to play around with. Kenny's got himself a Deeg and a nade. Just to see where that end up playing this. We can see that actually MBK and Shock's over towards mid right now. And Shock's with the scout looking to try and be a force of nature to be reckoned with. Just looking downrange. Not going to be able to find anything just yet. As currently VP, there reside 3 players at Banana, 2 waiting to see if any aggression does come out over towards mid or A as they just hold their ground for the time being. Now Snacks are going to go rejoin the rest of the team. Bialy looking like he might be the player to watch the flank as everyone else stacked up outside of this B site. The only issue is now they're rotating Shox around. They've got a good grip on what's going on, G2. As you can see, 4 players over towards B. And VP, they haven't bothered probing for any sort of information. They're going to be going into a very stacked site here. Shox to watch the cross. We can't see them just lining up these smokes and flashes ready to go in. He's actually going to rotate back around. The timing couldn't be worse as very quickly the Polish are coming, charging in through the smokes here in towards its B bomb site. Body just rubbing their shoulders as they head on through. The nade finds a whole bunch of damage. Finally, he realizes that he's face to face with Taz. Only finds one, but it's Kenny to do some damage. Back and forth, but Kenny's still alive and kicking. It shocks in from CT to back up Kenny. 3 frags for him as he gets himself the mythical triple. G2, they go ahead and bite straight back.
Yeah. Eco to Eco, and I can imagine VP are going to be forcing up here as well, just trying to get back into this one. They have the money for 2 AKs as well, so that would actually be a fairly considerable buy. You know, you don't want to see them Eco this one out, especially when G2 haven't built up their CT-style economy. You would like to see some kind of force, and yeah, 2 AKs, a couple of pistols, and a UMP, not too bad for VP, given the odds. And now we are going to see G2 at least leading this one in terms of weaponry, but again, we've said that before, and look how well it went. As VP are going to be the ones to be the aggressors, pushing down towards middle. Bit of a passive control from G2. They're just holding off towards a bait peek on long. That's going to be Kenny, not even committing to the angle. Pasha just trying to worm his way through the smoke over towards B. Might be able to catch out one quick player here, but the smoke just going to be down. What is happening? Running in through is going to be Shox. Does not hear the shots next to him for some reason, and that gives a free kill to Pasha. Man advantage going further as well. Snacks will drop a second player, trying to give the AK over to his teammate. Bialy running away, does not want to pick that up. Will finally drop back down towards the back of Apps. And G2, 2-man disadvantage, but Pasha's just pushing in alone. I'm not sure why he's really going to do that, trying to fake things out over towards B, but all it does is leave still 2 players towards the A site for G2. They're well equipped to deal with this one, but we still have a man advantage for VP.
Yeah, now they got the crossfire set up. No one over here towards Library or Arch to watch for this cross, so VP could actually just make their way in through CT spawn, but it looks like they're fairly dedicated out towards A. The smoke's going to go down for Library, but to no avail. MBK in from Pick, got to be the difference maker, but he can't connect anything, just pinned down, fighting for his life, trying to stay alive, clinging on best he can, doing the damage. Does get one, but now he's out of ammo, switching out of the CZ. Taz finds the frag. It's all on Body, who instantaneously going to find himself 1 versus 2 coming in from Arch. Bombs ticking away. He doesn't have a kit to play around with, so time is of the essence. Sneaking on around the corner, doesn't spot out Taz. The crossfire is going to be monumental here. Does find that first head, but he's got a couple more left to click on. Both players coming in for the peak, and down he goes. VP once again with an answer to everything. It's going to go 2-2.
3 force buy wins in a row, but this time G2 have even less money than VP did in their previous one. I can again expect a force just because neither team's built up the cash flow, but still, I'm not expecting the force buy win this time. The other times it did make a lot of logical sense just due to the weaponry that we saw on either side, but going into this one, G2 really don't have much to counter a quad rifle buy from the VP side. They still have 1 SMG, but it's not exactly a handicap when we see armorless players like Kenny S, for example, and Shox that head armor to support that scout. VP up and towards middle, no control towards Banana whatsoever, and that will allow maybe a bit of aggression from Body. Bialy to kick things off to take down MBK. Man advantage sitting pretty for VP once again. Finally, looking like a round may actually go the way of the better buy.
Yeah, right now VP just stacked up outside of this A sign, loading all their eggs into one basket. Don't want to risk spreading their forces thin. This might allow Body to make his way in through Banana, but it doesn't matter because the Blitzkrieg is here as they just push in towards this site fast and thick. And well, it's going to be Kenny to go down first. Apex next to follow, and Shoxy trying to do all he can with the scout, only finds a little bit of damage, a triple down ranges. He is very quick to be dealt with by Taz. It's all on Body. He's got some utility, has a UMP, but he's 1v5 very far away. And he's just going to try and save. This will be VP to finally win 2 consecutively. And that means G2 are going to have to go ahead and eco into that next round. They will have Body with the UMP if he manages to save. But I mean, if you look where VP are, they're looking to be a little bit hungry for the frags. Neo pushed on up all the way down towards T-spawn, clearing the angles. It looks like Snacks might make his mate down at mid. Taz watching the pushing towards B. I mean, Body just being circled by VP like vultures to a corpse right now.
Yeah, not hunting too much. No reason to give away a gun when they're expecting Body to just have a pistol into this round. He does have a little bit more than they expected, considering they haven't spotted him yet. No one went in towards B, but realistically, 1 SMG shouldn't make too much of a difference. G2 might have a couple of P250s coming up into the next round, but other than that, I'm really expecting a bit of a bare bones buy. They will be finally exiting towards the CT spawn. Body is nowhere to be seen, just sitting in Banana safe lane. We'll get away with a gun for another round. So finally, as you say, 2 in a row for VP. Pistols out for G2, and Eco will be coming in here before they go for their buy once again. So it's actually nice to finally see the force buy stop winning. It's always fun seeing some force buy fights, but you do hope eventually one team will get some ground to play with. And Shox investing, but that will be it here for G2, just playing this one very, very safely as they do want to get that buy into the next round.
Yeah, let's see if Body can make anything happen with the UMP over towards Banana. He has been left here, along with Shocks to back him up with that P250. Couple of flashes as well, so they could actually pop flash Body on round to try and kickstart this round here for GT, but they do have relatively little to their names. So it does look like for the time being VP just going to be playing this safe. They're not going to be going too aggressive. 3 players watching for aggression down Banana and mid. Then you've got Bialy on his own over at Apps. And he's become very accustomed to watching this angle. You normally see him left over towards here when they want to try and hit this B-bomb site. He's the player just to wait and see if any aggression comes out. VP using these Molotovs to isolate all the positions down on Banana. Body actually pop flashes himself on through. He's going to go for it, but only gets one. Snacks there to trade things out. His UMP does prevail. So they put it straight back into a 4-on-4. In the meantime, look at Bialy sneaking on out up towards his A site. MBK's coming in from behind though, and they're going to walk straight past each other. This could mean that MBK could very quickly be in the backside of VP. Bialy as well could entry out in towards A. They're all within earshot of each other right now, but no frags to be found.
Oh, I think Bialy must have made the call that this site is going to be clear, because now they're starting to all rotate back on. There's one in apartments there, he's been spotted. Now the mid-control, the double stack here. Dink comes through from the teammate, but Neo does manage to pick up the kill. Apex trades, but it's only one kill going the way of the CT side before VP crush the opposing forces, take the control back towards the A site, and leaving just the rotator. Shocks picked up with that UMP from Body's body. And that'll be it. As he starts to move back on in. There's no reason to save this gun. He should be going for the buy in the next round regardless with a rifle. So at this point, he's just looking to make some cash. If he can get one kill with that, $600, it will allow him to get, extra little bit of utility, maybe a kit. And that's exactly what he needs. One kill. At this point, I would probably just save the rifle and take it into the next round off of the body. But it doesn't really matter that he's chasing. He will be investing anyway. And that $600 can go a long way into your economy.
Kenny going to be naked with an AWP. That's exactly what you would like it. Now, actually, Shocks to be picking one up as well. The double up set up over on the CT side going to come into fruition. The little bit of extra cash allowing him to pick that AWP up. So thankfully, the one kill with the UMP will be prevailing on the side of VP. Pasha has the AWP to try and counteract this double offensive on the side of G2 and already flashes down mid. Forced Kenny's hand to fall on back. If he goes in for the repeak, Pasha currently with his attention down towards Banana. Shocks is here. He's got 2 AWPs out to get him, but let's see who prevails as both of these players just in the stalemate watching the angle. Pasha spots the player out, but doesn't land the shot. Now just going to fall on back up towards top mid. Join in with the rest of the team. Kenny watching the angle. Round comes Pasha, and he's faster on the trigger. Kenny going to hit the deck like a sack of spuds, and now we can see the rest of VP just charging in towards this A bomb site. Apex is here. Shocks is rotating around with the AWP, but already they're crawling over this A site. Taz going to be able to find one. It's Apex to try and hold the site down, but he doesn't get much work done. Shocks and Body going to find themselves 2-on-4. Very, very far lockdown out of this site, and it looks like they're just going to have to save, which means a 5th round for VP.
Yeah, the VP are looking so good right now. My prediction is looking a bit worrying because every time it seems like they just run up mid, get that pick, and completely work off it instantly. The smokes go down to hold down G2 on the rotations. They can never get back into the sites, and VP winning a lot of the engagement so far. 5 rounds to 2. This map fairly equal, a little bit CT-sided, but nothing too heavy. I mean, to be honest, its sidedness really is it isn't going to be fully decided, considering neither team really plays this one too heavily. But you can see VP are going to be chasing down these guns. It's Neo already pushed in onto the site, trying to look for the first kill. Needs to check the close oranges box. He doesn't. Turns back around. Body gets a kill, but now they know where he is. They can flush him out of that position. He has to just play passive, but Bialy takes him down, not expecting the second player, and at least the AWP will be held onto by Shocks. If they save those 2 rifles, they could have probably invested a couple of UMPs and another rifle around that, but now they should just be going for the eco. Shocks buys a bomber to support his AWP, but other than that, the rest of them just saving, and they have a bit of a loss bonus as well now to play with.
Still, though, it is a shaky start here for G2 and a great one for VP at that. And, well, we can see that this round once again, VP making their way up. Banana initially just watching this angle. Shocks is here with the AWP, playing it solo. Everyone else stacked up over towards this A site. This allows Shocks to be the catalyst. If they go B, he can find some entries. If they head over towards the A site, oh, look at this boost. Apex, how high are you?
7. That's a nice double stack, though. And with the player playing the bait corner towards Arch, that's pretty impressive as well. It will actually catch VP off guard if they do commit towards A. But, oh, Shocks, what? Gets 2 kills there with the AWP. 1 bullet, backs off towards the site, and he doesn't even need to port towards this side of the map. VP had been crushed, and now suddenly this pistol round going to start to look a hell of a lot more dangerous. Yeah,
you can see the bomb's ready to rotate back around. Neo wants to get the hell away from Shocks over towards that B bomb site. Bialy is out and in picked, locking down A. bit by bit. And well, smoke's going to go down to lock the players out, but already they're rotating on round over towards short. Bodies checking middle. There's no one here. It's Snacks up close and personal to try and watch the smoke. He's actually going to go through and might catch them off guard as Kenny going to be the first to go down. He then hears that Body's there as well. Body does find the refrag, however, now Apex and Body coming up through mid. Shox is rotating around through Banana, but he's going very, very slow and steady on this rotate. Had so many angles to clear and also didn't want to risk giving the AWP away. We might actually not see them go for this one. Time's ticking down, but they've got to find an entry soon because they don't have a kit to play around with. Bialy will be swiftly traded out by Apex. It's all on Neo, 1v2. A lot on his plate here, but he can make it work. Just holding the angle up in apps. Takes the peek, finds the first. Shox is to get the refrag. Pop flash going to come out. Shoxy watching the angle is going to be feeling the full effect of that. And out comes Neo swinging. Down goes Shox. The AWP going to be picked up and saved into the next round for VP. And G2 incredibly close, but no cigar.
Yeah, instantly, if we look at this replay, after this pick comes out, you actually see one of the VP members completely wrap back round towards the pit. I think it was Bialy. He pushes down, he gets a pick over towards A short, and he just runs round to the site, getting VP all the control. If he didn't get that kill, and he didn't wrap back round towards the pit, getting A site control so quickly for VP, G2 could have even had that round of the bag, because they had the 5v3 straight off the bat with that pick from Shox. So, nice reaction from Bialy to actually get himself back up towards that A site, secure VP the round. And 6-2 coming in. There's a double up again, once employed from G2. This time, they have the double armor to play with. But a slow play round from VP. They are just sitting pretty for the time being. Apps control is going to be taken to start things off. They aren't committing for the time being. G2 with a triple setup towards A. One going to be playing over towards Arch. That is Kenny S there. So he has been falling apart in a couple of these rounds that he's at least attempted to go for the pick, as Pasha has been at least out-aiming him with the AWP so far. But Pasha, instead this time, is going to be just putting pressure over towards the other side of the map, making his way up inside of the Banana. But Shox, once again, waits in the wings patiently.
Yeah, no collateral presenting itself just yet. Pasha holding the angle as well, so it is going to be a little bit deadly if he goes around. Oh, Pasha spotting his head there as he jumps on up over the wall, but doesn't quite connect that shot. As a result, Shox doesn't know he's there right now. Instead, we are going to be seeing them looking to refocus potentially over towards this A bomb site, as there are 3 players here right now. Bomb is still well and truly over towards Banana, and Snacks looking curious, wants to try and gain some ground. You can see they're actually rotating Kenny round very preemptively over here towards B, and it's a good read considering there's 3 players right now over this A bomb site. Or is it? As a twist of fate means that Snacks and Pasha now rotating back round over towards A. Only 2 players here to try and hold down the fort. MBK, though, he's doing just that. Picks up the first frag over towards Pit. Both players being in here could catch VP off guard as they look to find the first. Apex says no, as does MBK. These 2 players just combining, and they're going to mop things up between them. 4 frags right now. And it is all going to be on Pasha. 1 versus 5, runs out of time, and now they go hunting. There's a Pasha biceps in the corner. He's going to get 1, and he stays alive. Oh, he is sneaky.
And that's very important as well, because he even has 4k saved in the bank. So him, not getting loss bonus is not an issue. It would have only been 1400, and that will allow him to keep the AWP in play. So now he doesn't have to rebuy it. They can actually buy up around this AWP. He can even drop over a rifle if need be, but VP have some cash in the reserves to buy up once again. G2 continuing this double up on the CT side. And actually not too bad of a round from VP considering they actually have the buyout here, but still G2, if they pick up 1 more, they will be forcing these T sides into the eco. Starting to draw things back over towards their favour, but it's a control up towards Banana again and in towards middle as Kenny S. He just holds off this time. It's not going to be Pasha peeking into rifle instead. He goes for the shot, misses it, and we'll just fall on back towards Arch.
Currently making their way out mid. Still undecided as to where they are eventually going to end up going, as we can see G2, 3 players over here towards A, but they 4th able to rotate on round, and Shoxy finding Neo over towards Banana. Pasha does them the courtesy of putting it back into a 4-on-4 at least, as he just completely annihilates Kenny S there over towards mid. This is going to get them some presence out towards this A bomb site. You can see Body positioned in CT over towards the Speedway, can rotate on round at the drop of a hat. Apex, once again, just loving being high as a kite over towards this A bomb site. Now hopping on down, playing things passively. VP, they haven't made any sound. Trying to sell this as a bit of a fake, potentially. And, well, as MBK finds Taz, it's no mystery. The jig is up. The push going to be coming on in with only 30 seconds left. Time was the essence last time. And Bialy able to find the first. Apex going to try and hold the fort, but he can't. Does get the Martyrdom kill, and then in comes Body. Dispatching of Bialy once again, all on Pasha. Time running out, but this time he's got the bomb to play around with at least. Should be able to get it down on the site. Gonna smoke things off. Goes for the plant, but they're just going to rush straight on through. You got to watch out because Shox is there, still alive and kicking somehow. Goes for the no-scope, down goes Shox, Pasha biceps. It was incredibly close, but Body, he says no. Finds the frag with the USP, gets the defuse, and that could have been the clutch of dreams. That could have been the most Pasha moment you've ever seen. But sadly, it just wasn't meant to be.
I'd love to know where he wanted to go in the post plant there, because that was such an open plant in the middle of the site. It was so unnecessary unless he was going to go somewhere specific like Graveyard for it.
Well, but I think it's because he didn't know where the other player was, right? So he couldn't plant it for short or
No, but he could have gone for a safe plant hidden in the site or towards the back of the site, which would have made a lot more sense. But he just plants it open in the middle, which is so open to pretty much everywhere, right? So if G2 just rush into the smoke, they're always going to win that fight. Either way, a nice attempt, and now VP do have still enough to get a bit of a buy put together, but a very risky previous round in Shox. Nice flick onto Pasha there. Instantly the AWP is removed from VP, and a man disadvantage is going to be taken.
And now Pasha's been fairly key, actually, in a lot of these scenarios. He doesn't quite manage to make it work this time, as he's the first man down for VP. Shox claiming his life, finally being the AWP to come up trumps there in that engagement. Neo now going to be the player on the AWP as they look to try and keep it in rotation. Kenny already tagged down over in mid, just a little bit through the smoke as Taz tickles in with some 7.62 rounds. Over in mid, still 4 players for G2 over towards A. And this is something I'm really liking from them. They leave Shox solo time and time again over towards this B bomb site, simply because they know he can lock it down. They can just trust him to do that. And VP, they don't dare show their head over in B, because if they do, it gets blown clean off. This time, it's Kenny, up and close to the smoke in mid, looking to try and get personal with VP.
It's interesting to note that Shox even has the AWP over Kenny in this round on towards that B site. They've really got a lot of confidence in him, as you say, but now VP, they're going to start to make their way up towards this A site. Neo's been spotted picking up that AWP off of the body of Pasha. Smokes will go down towards Library and Arch, and that will grant them a free passage in towards this A site, as long as G2 don't contest through the smoke, and they will. Running in through is Kenny, a ballsy move, but Snacks will catch him off guard, allowing VP to equalize, but it's still 20 seconds left on the clock. They need to get this plant down. MBK peeks out in the open, fully blinds the opposing team, and does manage to get himself 2 kills, but Bialy spraying away, 2 for him, almost converts it, but does get the final shot off into Apex, as Shox is now left in a clutch situation, but it's not doable. Snacks catches him out, and VP, they got themselves a 7th round on the board. A nice, fairly simple smoke takeover towards A. They forced G2 out of position, they smoked them off towards Library and Arch, and Kenny jumping in through the smoke, giving VP that pick, made it so difficult for them to get back into the site. Even with MBK's heroics and getting that double kill from the pit, maybe if Kenny S was alive and they came in with a Shox and Kenny 2v2 retake, they could have done that one.
Yeah, attack pause going to be called in now by G2. I'd say it's fairly justified. Currently 3 rounds behind. They have been having a hard time. They got a couple of rounds here and there, but I would say VP have looked to be fairly dominant right now on this T side, which is a scary prospect indeed, especially when you consider, when we see them get that momentum behind them, just how scary they can be. If you were G2, what would you kind of look at to do a little bit differently right now? Because I would say that, everything they've been doing is fairly, good from a standpoint of just looking at it in terms of the fact that they can leave Shox on his own over towards B. He can hold it off on his own. If anything, it looks like Kenny's kind of the weakest link right now on the A site. He's been struggling time and time again. We usually see him being the first man to go down.
I think a couple of individual mistakes, I think, is one of the main issues. I mean, typically, as I just picked up, that play from Kenny pushing in through the Library smoke, when the VP have put a smoke down Arch and Library, you have 0 support. Your closest teammate is Pit, so the fact that Kenny's pushing in through that smoke, I guess he's flashing himself through, but there's going to be 2 or 3 VP players there, which is so risky. And if he didn't go down, they could have actually won that round, as Shox and Kenny could have been left to retake that at 2v2, but instead it was all on the shoulders of Shox, and they just got dropped by Snacks. So, yeah, a couple of individual plays. Kenny's not been able to hold down with the AWP in mid, and that's, I think, why we're seeing Shox on the AWP over him a lot of these rounds. Not only is he solo B, but also Kenny's been getting picked quite a lot by Pasha down here in mid, and not something you'd exactly expect to see as well over, on this matchup. But either way, I mean, it's really good for VP right now.
Pasha sneaking up over towards mid. Going to try and pick this out, goes for the prefire, but Body dodges it. Is he going to expect the leading Tower of Death around the corner? No, he does not, but actually, it doesn't matter because Taz is just a monster. Going to find 3 frags in a matter of seconds. Looking to try and get another one is on the site. It's MBK cowering in the corner. Taz coming round, and you can't hide from Daddy. That's going to be the 4th frag. It's all on Shox with the AWP, and Taz is hungry for the ace. He's looking to try and get it. And he's back to back with Shox. Shox rounds the corner and says no. Taz will go down. Shock's now trying to hold on to the AWP. He just had to go and deny the ace before he goes to save.
Yeah, of course. Most BM part of it, but either way, still looking for exits here. The thing is, VP's economy is not too bad at the moment, so there's oh, okay, actually, no, apparently it is. I thought they had a little bit more than that, but no, it's understandable now why he's chasing here.
They are cripplingly poor, actually, right now.
Yeah, let's just not draw up on my mistake. I've miscounted. But yeah, no, this is a perfect opportunity to get exits. Damage our economy more, they'll be limited. If they don't keep 3 players alive, they can't fully buy without, being limited in some sense of either utility or nades or, utility or weaponry, or maybe a lack of an AWP if they don't hold on to it. But either way, they will get away with that AWP, which is the most important part, throwing it back towards Pasha, who's been doing perfectly fine now. Snax, as I did predict, second top from the scoreboard, 13-6. Bialy as well, 14-6. A very good performance from him as well. So actually, my prediction was fairly safe.
Yeah, I mean, Bialy was someone who was quite absent on Nuke, in all honesty. He did kind of find his feet a little bit in the second half. This time, though, on Inferno, definitely showing up. And speaking of showing up, that's what they're about to find out over here towards B is G2, they have showed up in towards this B bomb site. This time stacking 4 players here. VP looking to just go charging on in, and this could spell disaster. Body boosted on up with the USP, looking to try and rain death from above, but instead he just provides them a free frag. Kills going all the way of VP as this B bomb site falls in a matter of seconds. In comes Shocks with the AWP, but already locked out the site in a 1v5. Has to try and save, and the uncomfortable thing is here is VP have so much time to go hunting that it's going to be a little bit hard for him to save this, especially as he misses that shot. That's just going to telegraph his position, so now they know where to start looking.
It seems like VP have like an anti-Shocks radar. Every time Shocks goes to a site, VP take the other one, and Shocks is getting no action here. He's always left to save or get exits, and he does go down to Neo, who just chases him down with a Mac-10. Not even... Oh, okay, no, he does take the AWP, actually. So, double AWP for VP. Questionable, but we'll see how it works out. Either way, I mean, at this point, yeah, they are avoiding Shock very, very well. He sits himself over towards that A site, they charge into B, catch him off guard, and then boom, there's another round for them. As 9-4 does come in. G2 can't afford their own AWP, so we're not going to see the Shock show anymore. Really, G2 are looking very, very poor on the CT side, not being able to hold down at all, missing all these aim battles, and VP are doing a great job so far, but either way, looking to continue it. Setting themselves up towards middle. No banana control once again. It just seems like they're not putting any pressure towards this side of the map. But Taz, first pick up in mid. Kenny yes to trade, and he does get aggressive. Maybe a bit too big for his boots there. I'm not too sure, but at least he has the crossfire to trade him. MBK drops Bialy, but Snax is again re-peeking for more. It's just trades back and forth. Apex finally taking it back for the CT side and leaving it all on Neo.
Yes, Apex in mid, looking to try and mop this one up. Tired the Frenchman's mistakes, but this time it's Neo round in the corner, stuck between a rock and a hard place as Body and Apex, they combine and they find that frag. G2 go ahead and fight back by picking up a 5th, but they need to get a little bit more. 9-6 is the best scenario we could see. Kenny S going to be chucked the AWP on over. And
I do hope they know that this is not allowed. There's an AK on the floor. I'm hoping Snax takes it. I'm pretty confident this gun is not allowed in Pro League. Okay, phew. Oh, that would have been that would have been heartbreaking if VP got.
He's amazing, a fragger, and also now a bit of a cheater by picking up the Negev. So he didn't use it at least, which is all good. But there we go. AKs across the board.
See, it's actually a next level strategy from Snax. What he's done is he's bought the Negev and he's left it in spawn. If G2 get into the spawn, they pick up the Negev and they use it and they get instantly disqualified. He is one step ahead of the meta game.
Yeah, definitely so. That's a strategy you would only see VP do. Neo to find the first, but then there's Apex quick in return to put it back into a 4-4. Not a Negev given by the players over in mid. And well, rotating back around over towards this B bomb site. Pasha boosted on up to try and spot the player in CT, but this time there's no one there. Instead, it's Body playing it from spools or coffins, depending on what callout you want to bother using for that position. But still, Molotov raining on in, and we can see now the smokes and flashes pouring on through after. Body's got his work cut out from the rotate already coming on round. He's got to buy time for these players to get into the site. Instead, he's going to fall on back. And playing it this passively, he has to stay alive now. He's given up the site. The only advantage is now they have a 4-4 in the retake, and he doesn't go down, which is the best scenario for them here. Bomb has been planted though, so G2 going to find themselves on the clock. Kenny trying to land the wall bang there, but retake well and truly underway. It's Apex to find the first 2. Things are heating up over towards this B bomb site, and all the heat radiating off Apex as he's on 3. Body looking to try and pick up one more, but Snax does one better. Going to pick up 2 frags for himself as MBK and Apex coming on through. Apex is on 4. He's looking for the ace. Bialy down on Banana, cowering in the corner, waiting to see for the defuse to come out. And Apex with the ace. There he is. finally going to get it. That'll beat G2 to pick up their 6th, and that was one hell of a first half. We will be back with the second very, very quickly. An explosive and insane first half there as VP look to be pulling things ahead. Will it continue, however, in the second half? Hugo, what were your thoughts on that?
I don't know. Maybe. I'm expecting them to, right? 9-6, great scoreline for the T side of Inferno as well. They looked like they were winning most of the engagements there. Aside from the ace that we saw picking up by Apex at the end, I didn't see a huge amount coming out from G2 in that first half. Shox was really the only one picking up the AWP a lot of the time. We saw double AWP predominantly towards the start of the game, and after the economy started to get flattened, they were limited to one AWP. Typically, it was just Shox soloing that B site, but unfortunately for him, every single time he soloed that B site, it seemed like VP would just chase up towards A and get those kills. I think Kenny noticeably having a couple of issues, not only individually, but also not only with the AWP, I mean individually, but just in terms of decision making. A couple of rounds really went a bit off for him. But yeah, I mean, great performance from VP. Can't take it away from them.
Yeah, definitely. And, you know, the thing that I've really liked in this kind of resurgence is the transition from one player in particular that's really kind of caught my eye, and that is Pasha. You know, when you look at him, right, he went from just being kind of food for both Shox and Kenny, right, just to be able to pick off whenever they wanted, little extra frag they could get, because he couldn't out-AWP either of them when we saw them on Nuke, right? Now we've come into this, Shox is still being a bit of a beast over towards that B-bomb site, but Kenny, like you said, he's having some issues of his own, and we always see kind of Pasha picking him off over in mid, be it with the AWP, or alternatively, you know, we see Snacks coming on in, finding that first frag. Kenny's having some real issues, and Pasha's picked up the pace with the AWP. Alongside him, I would say Taz is having a really strong performance, Bialy as well, and then of course, you know, Snacks, I mean, everyone right now pulling their own way. I literally just named everyone, so yeah, I mean, it has
How's
been...
Neo doing?
Oh, he's doing all right, I've heard. But yeah, I mean, you know, they are having a very good game. When you look over at G2, it's been kind of a mixed bag of results. Apex still doing well. He's trying to kind of pull them through, and that's evident from, you know, the kind of, well, we had the ace at the end. We had the, what, 3 or 4K in the previous round just before that. So, you know, he is very much showing up to the party in a big way. It's just, it's a lot of pressure to put on one man. It feels like it's kind of the him and Shox show, you know, with everyone else a little bit quiet. And in particular, you really look over at Kenny, kind of with a blank expression, wondering, where the hell have you been?
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this pistol round goes. If VP pick it up, I'm going to be very worried for G2. On the flip side, though, if G2 pick it up, it could be, you know, a very close game continually, you know, back up to 9 rounds potentially after picking up the anti-ecos. And then, who knows, it's anyone's game there on out, just going into the buys. So let's have a look as we go into this second pistol round. G2 on the T side, sorry, going to be forcing their way up towards middle. It's a bit of aggression from the CTs down towards Banana, but it's held back with a hefty use of a Molotov from MBK. No aggression from VP just yet. It's just Neo peeking out into second mid. And finally, Basher, he's going to make his way down. Nice shot there onto MBK. One quick kill. And there's a couple more down towards middle to hold off his position, such as Apex. But Pasha, he's looking in for more. He's hungry. Neo lands on the headshot. Pasha drops back in. Say hello as he removes the head of Apex. And VP doing exactly what G2 did on their pistol round, just rushing all areas of the map, leaving just Shox pushed up. But frankly, I don't expect this to happen.
Yeah, they call him Shox because he's simply electric. Making his way out through mid, going to turn it into a 1-on-2. Both these players peeking at the same time, but he's using the pillar perfectly. And Shox, what are you doing, my man? He's going to be able to turn it into a 1-on-1, but then there's Taz. And well, he says no to that. Completely shuts the clutch down. But my God, that was a nail-biter.
2 one-taps. You were dreaming. I was dreaming. We were all dreaming. It could have happened there for Shox. The exact man you want in that clutch situation. But G2 still now going to be left with the force buy. No bomb down for themselves, and VP take the lead. Even committing with a lot of SMGs into the second one. Only Taz on the rifle. Can be dangerous for retaking as well, especially because this is a map where retaking is, off the bat, very difficult. So if G2 can get the bomb down, potentially a good position for them. But obviously, It's going to be easier said than done. We have 2 towards B, 3 towards A, very default setup here, but the only rifle down in towards the other side of the map as G2 start to push their way inside of the apartments, mid-control as well being taken. And VP not putting too much pressure on, just holding back passively for the time being.
Yeah, G2 still very dangerous with this pistol and armor combination. They've got 2 smokes to play around, a couple of flashes as well, and with where they are up on A, look at how they could use these. I mean, you know, if you stick one over towards Library and Arch, you can isolate that player playing an Arch in the form of snacks and then make your way towards the site, but it just looks like they're going to go in dry for the time being, and it looks like it might pay off as MBK. He does good damage, will be dropped by Pasha, but still, damage. Okay, Pasha's so hungry for frags, he even dispatches of Neo there, but still, it's all on Apex. 1v3. He has been able to slip on through silently in towards CT, and right now Taz, he's kind of aware of this, watching for any sort of aggression to come through from this angle, but instead Apex doubling back round in through Library, still dedicated towards this A-bomb site as he sneaks on out. This is where we're going to see Bialy pounce in from pit. The MP7 prevails, challenging the UMP meta. It doesn't. The MP7, terrible in comparison.
I don't know why anyone would buy that gun, but I'd love to see the price swapped with the MP7 and the UMP. Maybe we'd see more use from it then, because the MP7's not exactly bad of a gun. It's just too expensive, and the UMP's cheaper.
I mean, Bialy, as well as being a CS legend, he's also a trendsetter, apparently, as he looks to try and change the meta as we know it. But anyway, G2, naked and afraid would be the words I would use to describe them this time around. Only a couple of pistols across the board, no armor, and already the aggression from VP all the way in through mid. They're still in spawn, looking disorientated and confused. And while they find that first frag, nothing else really coming into fruition as the bomb's currently hidden. MBK pouncing down from above, just raining death in with the Glock in his pocket. Shoxy as well to try and do some more, but no, Neo won't let him have the satisfaction. VP, they're going to arrive at 12 rounds, but now G2 can get a buy together.
It's like the T's and CT swap positions in that round. It was just all so up and down, VP rushing down everywhere as per usual. But they're just trying to be dominant. They're just trying to force into G2 and try and get into their heads a little bit, it seems. Just trying to get aggressive on every aspect of the map. But this time I can imagine a far more default setup. We have 3 going over towards the B side of the map. No AWP in play. Pasha is going to be on the UMP down towards B as well. And G2 instantly mollied and smoked out of this banana area and mid as well. This even allows aggression. I mean, VP could push down, and we can already see, if we look at the position of Neo, he's actually pushed a fair bit as well. Down towards the bottom of the apartments. Going to back off finally. But either way, they rotate a third player back towards the A site just to commit to a default setup, and they still have this banana control. They could easily get aggressive down here. They have Taz checking it out, but actually Snacks dropping back down, leaving just Taz solo towards B. He does have a re-smoke for the bottom of Banana here, but this is still a bit of a risky play. Without an AWP, and now Taz left with no utility left. While a quad A stack would work if G2 walk into that, if they just go for a fast B take, Taz is going to be absolutely screwed.
Just holding their positions, waiting for the smokes to fade. And now this is going to allow Body to try and spot for some info inside of B. But it's pop flash in mid, allows Pasha to go for the information play. He knows that there's at least 2 players here as he spots them on that initial peak. This, however, does force their hand back down Banana, and that's probably the worst case scenario here for VP. You can see that quickly trying to rotate Snacks in through CT to join Taz over here towards this B bomb site as G2, the conga line of death. Pasha does find one at mid, at least in the form of Apex, but now the remaining 4 players pushing out over here towards A. Snacks goes aggressive, and okay, through the smoke, does lots of damage. Leaves it on Taz, however, to try and mop this up, and there we go. Once again, the man, the myth, the dad, the legend, as he goes ahead and secures a 13th round for VP. There's just something beautiful about the finesse that Taz is showing us right now.
I have no words. VP are tearing G2 a new one. This is absolutely insane, considering the performance they've had coming into matches like this, considering G2's performance up against Astralis yesterday and also at Star Series. I was not expecting this kind of outcome, but VP have so far impressed me. G2 now just left with some pistols. They're even forcing into this one. I mean, if they ecoed it, they'd be able to stop VP from getting to the match point, but now they're allowing VP 14 rounds if they pick this one up, and then even a 15th as G2 will have to either eco or I imagine force. So this is really... I don't like the buy. I think it's more of a tilt buy than anything, right? Because you should let VP get to 14 rounds before you commit to rifles instead of just going for Tech 9s. They're not having effect on rifles. Why would they think anything different with a far lesser buy? But either way, it's not working out just yet. Kenny S is tagged, MBK's out for the count, and barely any damage done onto the side of VP. Time is of the essence.
Grouping up in mid, huddling together for warmth as it looks like they want to try and push on in towards this A-bomb site. 3 players here for VP. they found MBK, we're not going to see them go for any sort of aggressive strategies. There's no need to. You can keep 3 players over here towards its A site, 2 over at B, but they're actually going to rotate Taz around very preemptively. They don't hit anything over at this B bomb site, and they're just going to on the back of this guess, and it is going to pay off for them, pouring on out like a waterfall of Frenchmen in towards Pit. Things are getting hot and toasty. That Molotov does just miss its mark, but the bomb gets dropped out in the open as Pasha and Taz look to try and mop this up. Kenny's little face peeking on over, but not just destroyed yet from Pasha, as Shox rounds the corner from short, looking to try and find some frags quickly. Picks up the first on Bialy, but then instantly traded out by Pasha. Kenny S, 6 HP in a dream, making his way out through Pit onto the site. Still has to watch out because Neo just hiding on the site, still there, still a threat. They're not going to let him get that bomb down, and that's VP now 1 round away from that point.
I mean, G2 have a little bit more money to work with than I expected, just due to the loss bonus being far bigger, but still, I mean, they get a goodbye, but no AWP, and that's been one of the make or breaks here for G2. Shox on that AWP as well, over Kenny. Some of the times we saw on the CT side could have really made the deal breaker coming into this T-buy round, but they're up against the mark. VP are very close to closing out this map. And Pasha, the zone orb now in towards middle, looking for the pickup. Does spot out that first player, but doesn't land the shot. Surely has to back off here.
Oh. There you go. New age Molotov from Pasha, biceps down in mid. We are going to be seeing Shoxy, meanwhile, pushing on up over towards Apps. He's here alone, looking to try and wreak some havoc as he just bides his time. Now focusing his attention over towards balcony. Bialy is here. If he goes aggressive, we could see Shox try and find him an entry. He's going to go for the full bang on the boosted player, but no one is there. And actually, Bialy tagging back through, trying to answer back, but it's Neo to find the first. Apex hits the deck. Shox does get the trade, however, in return. It is going to be a 4-on-4 off the bat. They gain control of mid, but now it's going to fall on back. Bomb still dropped very passively down towards Banana. You can see 2 players pushing on up in the form of Body. And Kenny's there, both here, trying to make this work. And while Body finds the first, Snacks now through the smoke, finds one, but then there's MBK instantly in retort. And that's the B bomb site cut in half and opened up. And now Bialy and Pasha rotating background fast as their legs can carry them to try and retake this bomb site.
Not an easy task with an AWP either. They do have a kid on Pasha, but with a man disadvantage, I'm not expecting too much here. G2 might have another round on lockdown to try and bring this one back. As Pasha worms his way in, the smoke soon to dissipate. G2 have no more utility to hold them out of the site at all. Bialy smoked down towards Banana will allow Pasha to at least focus on the site for the time being, but still, if he's going to commit to this, he needs to hurry up. Time is low. He gets the pixel shot. Kenny S goes down. They need to clear the pool, and then they should be okay. There's only 1 player left. Bialy takes down the second, and they should know Banana's got the final player. It's a peek, but Bialy lands a shot, and he even has the kid on Pasha's body. Time for the defuse, and VP, they're going to pick it up. Wait.
Oh no!
That's so close.
So incredibly close, but G2, they're going to stay in this. 7-14, they disallow the map point. They lose everyone in the process, so it was a very costly round. They can still afford to buy down. The utility is going to be few and far between. VP have enough money to buy up as well, so it's going to be rifles on rifles. Whoever wins this, all the pressure right now is on G2. I mean, VP, they lose this, they've still got a huge buffer. It does allow G2 to get 2 rounds, but if VP pick this round up, then they can effectively get a 2-for-1 almost. It will be a 4-spy for G2 in that last round of the half. So already down mid, as the action's going left and right. God. Snacks to find the first. Kenny offers himself up as sacrifice. Body to try and trade things out, does at least find Bialy. Lurking on the aggro down through mid. Snacks holding the angle with the AWP. Will be flashed out, now falling on back. His biggest fan up there, rotating on round, and now Shox is coming in as well. As he rounds the corner, going to be peeking on out. Snacks actually just falls away, so it does give Shox a window of opportunity. Well, he's about to kick this open and make it a doorway. Down goes Pasha, and all of a sudden it's a 4-on-3. They take the man advantage. They look like they're going to soar out through mid, but now the bomb actually falls back. They might turn their attention instead over towards this B bomb site. There's still plenty of time left.
Yeah, no rush for G2. If MBK goes down here on his own, though, that could start to be a bit of an issue here for this T side. They just group on together, they could be absolutely fine. If MBK is going to push up, he either needs to catch a rotation as the rest of his team push up towards the A site, or have a buddy to trade him out, because that could be so detrimental. And I think he realizes this. While he is lurking, he does not want to give this away. Actually going to throw in a bit of a fake, may go for some kind of spray, but I don't want to see him commit to the site here on his own. And finally just backs off. Doesn't draw a rotation from VP. They still keep 2 players towards this A site, and Apex starting to make a bit of a move down towards the edge of this apartment. It's clear it's going to be an A-Tech. I think VP have worked this one out too, but they don't want to call for a rotation until they see that bomb, and now we will. Apex is going to get that first entry. Shox as well. A quick headshot onto Neo to shut down the second player, and Taz, there's no way he's rotating. He's holding onto that gun as G2 do not allow the reset of VP. They're going to bring it back up to 8 rounds. That's 2 in a row, but it's still a long road ahead for them to close out this map.
Yeah, an uphill battle to say the least, really, for G2 at this point. Taz, like you said, going to be able to save. I doubt we're really going to see them go hunting too much. Keeping 4 players alive is kind of essential for their economy at this point. Thing is, it is a long road to recovery. At least they can try and get this 2-for-1 right to then hopefully find them on a 9-14 scoreline. At that point, they're only 5 rounds behind, right? So it is still a long road till they reach the equalizing 14-14 round, and we could very much see overtime come into this. But at the same time, it's only going to take a couple of mistakes really from VP, who have looked shaky in spite of how well they're doing, and in spite of the fact that I said that I think they could take this map. They have made mistakes, so we can't let them have this kind of kick to their momentum, slow them down too much, or else they're very quickly going to find themselves on the receiving end of a comeback from G2.
Yeah. At least G2 will get a bit of confidence build up by getting these anti-ecos. We shouldn't see this one go the way of VP. Actually going to force up into it, which I do understand considering they not only have 1 rifle, but it's also going to be a couple of ecos before they can commit to the rifles once again. So yeah, mag 7 on Pasha. We see a scout as well on Neo and a couple of pistols. It's not too bad of a buy, all things considered. But G2 still should be able to close this one out as they start to make their way up towards the top of Banana very, very fast, looking for the burst players. In fact, contact, because VP are not peeking at all. They have a passive crossfire, both Snacks boosted as well as Taz there. Good nade to just do some chip damage, but now they're going to just charge on in. Contact indeed. There's no way that VP had a clue that this is going to be the site-taking question, but Taz mows down 2 kills. Snacks as well drops a second. This is going to be very, very scary for G2. They need to get back into this one. A smoke shot from Body does take down Snacks, but still they need to get this bomb plant. They're in a man disadvantage. They can't allow VP to get control back of the site. It will be planted. KennyS can back off, and now 2v3. G2 need to hit their shots.
Yeah, don't have much utility to play around. We do have the smoke, which could render one of these players useless at least. Orbi used the smoke, the bomb, just to put pressure, but Kenny, as he takes that aggressive peek, Neo will hit the deck. A 2-on-2 ensues. Pasha and Bialy, the 2 players, have to try and clutch this out. Kenny going to be chipped away at Body as well. Both these players playing it very passively. The crossfire set up as Kenny smokes himself in. Nade's going to go out. It does find some damage, but it's Body to try and clutch this. Bialy gets 1, and now Kenny hiding in the smoke, biding his time. Bialy desperately trying to connect the shot in through the smoke. Kenny's tagged down low. Bialy taking out the knife, swinging it around. What the hell is this? Bialy finds the frag, but there's not enough time left. G2, they still pick up the round. They live to fight another day. And all it took was KennyS to hide in a smoke.
Just hold control, don't shoot, you're fine. What a round. I mean...
Curl up in a ball, cry. It was terrible.
Are we doing Counter-Strike or my weekends now at this point? The thing is, G2 lost all their players in that round, so money is going to be impacted quite badly. They now have to reinvest. And look at this, no saved economy despite picking up 3 in a row for this matter. So actually some good damage from VP considering the low investment. Now they're going to be still on an eco coming into this one. And, you know, potentially going for the buy in the next round if they, if they go into the next round. I don't know where I was going with that one, really. Taz is going to be on a deagle. P250s across the rest of the team as well. A bit of utility to get something done, but we're not really expecting too much. Some aggression from Pasha, and actually might be able to catch that one. KennyS is dropped. Apex trades as he finally switches back to his weapon, and they're just going to take that pick with, you know, a charge into the A site, just completely barreling their way in. As another one comes through for Apex, finds Snacks as well, and Bialy will be dropped. This man is just on fire. 3 kills, and 2 will remain. Only 1 more left on the site, but he should be aware that Neo's in this back corner in a second.
Neo still alive and kicking, finally going to go down at the hand of Apex. He's looking to try and get another ace, and it's well and truly on the cards. There we go, the man himself. This is what, the 2nd ace for him, or maybe okay.
He got an ace in the last round of the first half.
For Apex. Acepex. Terrible, terrible nickname. Should never, ever use that ever again. 10-14. 4 rounds the difference between these 2 teams now, and VP with enough money to buy down. This is their shot to try and hold back the tide of G2 and a reach map point. It would put an end to their 7-round loss streak overall, and also 7-round loss streak on this map. What a way to do it as well. What a critical time in the competition. But already, you can see G2 taking this round a little bit more slowly than what we're used to. Players down over towards Banana, watching for the aggression. It's the right call to make because there's 3 players from VP here barreling on down as the smoke is there. They're shooting Taz a lot for some reason. Not sure if they like him too much right now, but still. They've gained a lot of ground down towards Banana. Smokes and flashes raining in over towards this A-bomb site. Body misses that smoke, though, and this isn't going to be too great. I think that was the one meant for Pit, so all of a sudden things get a little bit more difficult. Bialy's boosted himself up to see over the top. Finds 1, finds 2 from the very, very adaptable positioning there. Now falls on back, and it's still doing damage in towards this Snacks and Pasha. They combine, find 2 between them. It's MBK in a 1-on-3 over towards Arch, fighting to keep G2 in this.
Bomb is still in the open as well. With 2 players towards the site, this is going to be very, very difficult for MBK. Does need to get himself a quick 1v1, but with no trade potential as well. Pasha's going to be close, but so is Bialy. I think he just spotted the barrel there. Actually going to move one in. The worst timing possible. He needs to check this corner. He does. There's one. Spots Pasha too. He actually knows what's up. Taz is coming in from the back and pushing him very fast as well, making a fair bit of noise. MBK should be able to take it, but Pasha, a brave peek there coming up from the site to drop him and secure VP that 15th and crucial round. They've secured overtime. They may be able to take it over the edge as well and pick up a win. G2's money, this is the main issue. They lost all players up against that force buy from VP, right? So now they can't even buy up. This is going to be so difficult. It may even be closed out here and now from VP. A 16-10 looking extremely likely as only 2 rifles are fielded from the Frenchman.
Yeah, VP's so close to breaking the curse. 7 rounds lost out of the last 7 they played, and 7 rounds lost in a row on this map. Straight out through mid, though, as the Frenchmen look to go aggressive, trying to catch them off guard, but Pasha finds one, finds himself a second, finds a third as well. There's no stopping Pasha Biceps. Yes, there is. Its body finally deals with him, but still the damage has been done. Bialy just has to buy time for the rotates to come in from this B bomb site, and he's doing so much damage. Apex going to be tagged down low. He's seen better days. Body coming up from short as well. Going to be spotted out as Bialy does the damage. It's all on Apex, who walks into the constant stream of bullets. Couldn't bear life any longer, and that'll be VP breaking the curse and taking the series 1-1.
Finally, right? What a performance from them, though. Obviously, a great first half. We saw them pick up that pistol. We saw them carry on with the streak, and I assumed it would just be closed out there and then. But at least G2 had, a stint of a comeback to get back into that matchup. Still, though, I mean, I'm impressed by VP to actually have the resilience just to come back off of a quite upsetting loss, right? Over on Nuke, they had such a terrible first half and then brought it all the way back to 13, only to fall short.
Yeah, and I'm very excited. VP, they're back. Or at least that's what it looks like right now.
Maybe
a bit of a bold claim, but who knows? It'd be great to see them have this return to form. I mean, this was G2, a team that's been going from strength to strength, currently, kind of contesting for the top spots. And I mean, some of the plays we got to see on Inferno, I think this was kind of the highlight game for me right now. I mean, we've still got more coming on up after this. But yeah, I mean, what can we take from this then, Hugo? What did you like? What didn't you like? What went on?
Well, I generally liked the way that VP played the T side. They were extremely dominant. I mean, Pasha was winning all those duels up against Kenny S with the AWP, and it must have affected his confidence somewhat, because we even saw the AWP get thrown over to Shox over in the first half, and that's something really that we don't see very often. While Shox always picks up that secondary AWP, I barely ever, at least personally, see him take the AWP over Kenny S in a situation where either of them could have it. It's not like it's an eco round and Shox has saved it. It's a buy round. Who has the AWP? Apparently Shox now, and yeah, Kenny S really didn't look up to form today. We saw a lot of great performances from people on VP that don't always lead at the top of the scoreboard. Bialy was doing extremely well, especially in that first half, and he even continued it with some extent to the second half. Yeah. A really great match. Yeah, definitely. And I think, what we can say from VP at least is they remained resilient there in Nuke. They took all the energy they were able to build up and just took that into this second game. Once they got the momentum, the wind in their sails, it was a bit of a rocky start. If you remember, it was back and forth for the first 4 rounds, and then finally we see VP take that 2 in a row. And from that point on, I would just say they kind of took it in their stride, right? I think after we saw that performance from them in the second half on Nuke, it was kind of assumed that they were back in at least good form for today, right? That's something that we can say. And they break the curse. That's kind of something that's nice for them. If you want to look at this from a perspective of it in like the long run, they were on a 7-loss streak in the last 7 games they played. Even then, it was kind of a one-off win they got. Let's hope this isn't the case for this one as well. But on Inferno, they lost 7 in a row once again. They finally managed to break it, which makes all these pages and pages of notes literally useless. So they're gone, as I have to go and draft up new ones. But I mean, I think that was phenomenal. We couldn't have asked for a better game to kickstart today. No, not at all. I mean, I just agree with everything you say there. I don't think it was a one-off, though. I think we're going to see a little bit more from VP coming into this, because it wasn't just like it was one great map. They actually did very well on Nuke on that second half as well. So going into this, I think potentially in their last 2 games of the Pro League, they could avoid relegation. It's very, very possible. But again, we will have to see in the upcoming match later on next week. Yeah, definitely. And we have still got another game coming on up. That is Fnatic versus Astralis. That's going to be good, if not even better than what we've already seen it tonight. That'll be coming up, though, after a very quick break.
ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G. Pay safe.